The second point was, I'm not sure if I understood well the question, but it was about karma. So, for example, if there is someone who is ready to pass away, let's say, how to help that person regarding her or his karma. So, first of all, if you really want to have good, very good advice regarding those matters, then I would say that really Buddhist monks are trained for this kind of transitions, for helping people to these kinds of matters. Actually, they might have some suttas residings, and they know how to accompany people to death. This I do not have. I do not have that. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to do it for external, for other people, let's say. And so I would just answer with what I know, right? Just as a short introduction, how maybe we are not far away in Europe, all right? And the modern way of being brought up, I would summarize in my country, for example, in France, if you are born in a family where there is no religion, no faith whatsoever, you are kind of born out of nowhere. You do not know, and maybe those questions do not arise until you are you are already all grown up, right? So it looks like maybe a coincidence. People are born all around you. They were born, but these very ontological questions, we do not ask it. We do not ask it, but somehow in the background, in our way of living, this is something that is almost a kind of gut feelings. I'm just touching my belly. A kind of gut feelings of, yes, that feels weird, feels strange, right? But okay, we don't have time to think about those things. We are already busy in surviving, paying bills, having a job, career, or studying at university when we are young. So we just put that aside, and it looks like around us nobody's asking that question, so we do not ask it. So we are seems to be born. So we study at school that we come from the egg of the mother and the sperm of the father, and then there is the mitosis. There is the aggregation of 23 chromosomes from one side, 23 chromosomes for the other side, pick up, and then I don't know if you remember those movies at school, but it looks like this. And then they move away, and then they form two new cells, and then okay. And even that, thinking about yourself as just mitosis and multiplications of cells seems strange, right? Am I just cells? So, but okay, we forget about it. We forget about that questions because otherwise it's just thinking and you do not know, you do not have answers. And because you've been grown up in a family where there is no faith, maybe, then okay, you give it away. You give up answering that. And nobody else is asking that. So let's keep moving on, moving forward, right? And then when you grow up, you realize that people are also dying. People are also dying. So if you realize that people really don't know what's happening after death. And depending on the family and again the faith you were brought up, if there is no faith, then you've been told, well, the body goes away. Body goes away, or maybe you go to funerals and you see that the gasket is sent to a burning fire, and then you get back some ashes, right? So this is what death is about, the end of the body. And you say, okay, it's very fearful, right? Because yourself, you feel yourself, and you say, okay, it's the end of myself. So you try to imagining maybe either it's the total annihilation of the person, or there is something else, but I don't know. So there is a kind of opacity around death, and we don't know. We see a grief when someone is dead, and we like to imagine that this person feels good where she is, if there is only physical death. So it's a lot of questions, but we don't know, right? If you are brought up in Christian tradition, then there is heaven and hell. So hell, but we hope that we won't go. We hope that we will go to heaven, but we do not know really when we are dying if you are going to hell or to heaven. We say, okay, most probably I will go to heaven, but for how long? Or okay, is this what is heaven is made about? For will I be eternal and have only pleasant emotions and feelings and so on? So we imagine, but we stopped questioning. We stopped questioning at some point because it seems a bit absurd. But when we see our father, our mother dying, we hope, because it feels us more secure, let's say, to imagine that this person is now in heaven, right? And kind of seeing us from heaven again, and someone we can still talk to. So it's not very clear about how we are born, what's happening after life. In the Buddhist tradition, it makes it very, very clear. All right. You are born out of your karma, meaning that it's your past craving that makes you reappear with a certain kind of body. So it can be human body, it can be a formless body, or you can be reborn in the hell realms. So there are godly realms, hell realms, human realms, animal realms, ghost realms. Maybe I'm forgetting one. All right, and depending of your karma, you will go to that realm, that realm, that realm, or that realm. And this karma making is the let's say intention that you have, that you put into your action, your speech, and the way you use the body. So I don't know the mechanism exactly of rebirth, but depending on what you've done in previous lives, so it can be the just previous life, or maybe 100 life ago. It depends how much time the karma needs to ripe. Then it will propel you to this realm, or this realm, or this realm, right? This is how you are born out of your past craving for existence, craving for sensual desires, craving for non-existence. So although body changes, it's not a direct continuity. It's I don't know how, I don't want to use not correct words, but this is the generation of rebirth consciousness that is conditioned by past karma. All right, so let's say that now Buddha's teachings tells us why we are reborn, right? And then we have this body, and through the six senses, there are six kind of consciousnesses that arises, and because of clinging, craving, the growth of consciousness that will actually propel itself for the next lifetime. And depending of what kind of karma you accumulate and you inherit in that life, then it will make you reappear in this or this or this or this realm. So for example, you can, for those who train the jhanas, the rupa and arupa jhanas, the mental absorption, the form and formless meditation absorption, then depending on the attainment you can have of those states of consciousness, then you might have an idea of which kind of realm you will be reborn. So if you are used to develop the last formless jhanas, the neither perception nor non-perception, then you will be reborn in that kind of realm. So it might be just gibberish what I'm talking about. For those who are used to developing the jhana will understand quite well how it might look like. So without any body, but very, very small kind of perception, and very, very small, very, very not intense kind of very attenuated feeling, and you will be reborn there for a long, long time. And when this karma of meditation, cultivation is exhausted, then you will be reborn most probably into human realms. And then in your realms, maybe you won't cultivate meditation, but just cultivate unwholesome deeds, and therefore go back to realms, to hell realms. spend some time there. Then when the bad karma is exhausted, then you might be reborn as a human being. Then maybe now you'll start to meditate again, cultivate good karma and so on. So it's the cycle of samsara, right? So you visit all the different realms according to your deeds. And it's a never-ending story until you decide, okay, enough. Now I understand. That depending of what I do, what I think, what I say, then okay, I start to see that it orients my consciousness towards this, towards that. And you start to realize that wherever you go, so even if you are reborn in the formless realms, which is very, it like, all right, with the godly beings, the devas and so on, it looks fantastic. It looks fantastic. But then if you develop insight and wisdom, understanding, you will realize that even being reborn in those realms is suffering. The Buddha gives instruction how to be reborn, how to aspire to be reborn in such realms. There are a few suttas. I don't remember the names. I'm trying to remember if it's in the Majjhima Nikaya or Samyutta Nikaya, but he gives instruction. Say, okay, you want to be born into godly realms, then you have to meditate on this, and at the time of death, you think about this, and you orient your mind like this, right? And there is also, I think in the Tibetan tradition, there is, they really work and train in that how to orientate their mind at the time of death. In the bardo, they call it. This is this transition between two births. How to orientate their mind and how to know in that strange states when you have no body, how to direct your rebirth, because there is this tulku system in the Tibetan tradition. So there is this book of the Book of the Dead, I think it's called, where it gives instruction how to navigate at the time of death, right? So there is the cycle of samsara, different directions according to your karma. And you might decide, okay, whatever, even if you take this as an assumption, even if you can start to contemplate that. But even contemplating suffering in this lifetime is almost enough. But taking into consideration this possibility that, okay, I can be reborn as a dog, or I can be reborn in the human realm, but having a disability. So there is another sutta where the Buddha describes, actually, depending on the kind of action that you make, the kind of disability you will be reborn with. Or what if you do this kind of action, how you would be reborn as an ugly person, for example, or how you will be reborn in a very poor family, or how you will be reborn in a family where you are beaten, for example, and so on. So he was able to see clearly those correlations between actions, intention, and destination of rebirth. And because he was able to see that directly, this is also this kind of knowledge which allowed him, the night of his full enlightenment, to understand the path out of suffering. The path out of suffering is when you consider that there is this danger of being reborn in a bad destination with, I don't know, very deformed body, being ugly. He explained also how there is a correlation, for example, when you try to force people or to manipulate people with bad or wrong speech, how you can be reborn in a life where whatever you say, you will not persuasive at all. Nobody will believe you, or you will be not even listened to. It's yes, it sounds really like a punishment. That's true. And this is difficult because we do not understand the processes. But there is nobody who is actually making a list, a list of, oh yeah, this person, so plus or minus, this person I've done this. Oh, this is good action. So she helped people, she made marriage, she made good deeds, she, I don't know, gave that and that. Negative, oh okay, she lied, she had I don't know, an affair, she stole some things, uh, she killed, I don't know, a pig or an animal. So, okay, the plus minus, let's make the balance and then see. Okay, so we imagine, but no, you cannot imagine that there is a kind of force that makes all this calculation of balance between bad and good. So, because we cannot imagine that it's possible, because we do not understand the mechanism of it, we discard it. And we say, nobody can read my mind. So, how is it possible that there is this two columns and then the total, and then depending on the total, either plus or minus, or where is the balance, then I will go to that way and that way. I cannot explain that to you, how it works. The Buddha might was able to clearly enunciate the principle of that, but we have to take it into consideration and pay very much attention to what we think, we say, and we do. So even if you do not understand this kind of balancing and inheritance of karma, we can just look in our daily life, what we think, what we do, and the results that we get. Because karma is intention. We can also translate it as action, but also as results of actions. What you inherit. And yes. And in this lifetime, even if you do not want to really consider these cycles of samsara, this is very, in our modern Western society, this is something that people do not want to consider at all. Say, oh no, I do not believe in this godly realms, really, ghost realms, really, no. So, okay, don't take it into account, but look at how every day you are reborn. somehow. You go to sleep, you go to unconsciousness, and then on the next morning, reborn consciousness, yes, me, I. There was a discontinuity, all right? And then re-arising of body, of consciousness, of sense consciousness after a blackout, right? So you are reborn every morning. Sleep is like death. Falling asleep is deep letting go of the body in the mind, right? And then next morning being reborn. Death is not different than that, than this process actually. So how to help someone who is actually dying? Well, if that person doesn't know anything about Buddhism or karma, I don't know how to help that person. All right. This person will inherit his her karma. That's for sure. That's for sure. I would say that you can prepare yourself. Maybe what's important is that, okay, first of all, accepting that those who haven't received those teachings will actually go to their faith, I would say, according to their karma, because this is also what we call ignorance. They don't know those principles. So they go like blind people, not knowing, right? Yet they will be propelled if they are willing or not, right? But we can prepare yourself. There is this contemplation of death, Maranasati. It's traditional Buddhist contemplation. I haven't taught online. I cannot do that because I don't know what's the audience. I need to know a bit about the psychological stability about the person, right? Because even the Buddha, when he taught that practice he received, he had problems with people, with monks getting suicide about that. So it was very. You have to pay attention to the other person. So there is contemplation of death to prepare yourself. And I would say that developing the jhanas, and especially the arupa jhanas, because the arupa jhanas, the body is completely gone. So it's just the mind experiencing the mind and letting go. It's a most profound letting go that you can experience in meditation, the arupas jhanas. And I was reading two things, and then I'm done about that topic. Two things I was reading when I started meditating: a book from Dr. Raymond Moody, Moody. He was a doctor who actually made lots of experience around near-death experiences. It's called Life After Life. And after interviewing many people, he kind of listed all the main or common characteristic of those experiences, right? And most interviews that you can read, actually, maybe he has a website online, I don't know. But what people described, people who almost died and then come back. So what they describe is actually looking very alike the Arupa jhanas. And even the experiences of the tunnels of light and that I felt love and expansion and infinite space, infinite consciousness. It looks like the jhanas. Those people were people who were able to let go a lot. The body was not responding, so the senses were not responding. There was only the mind, most probably, and they experienced the jhanas because they were confident or ready to surrender, to let go, and it brings you to those mental absorption. So that's really interesting. So somehow, I would say that if you prepare in the Arupas jhanas, yeah, you can prepare for death. And I did once past life regression with a person who is an hypnotist. And she was making me travel between two lives. And this was really this transition at the moment of death to the moment of rebirth. And you can live again, relive those experiences. And for me, it was exactly like the Arupas jhanas. I could see that it's not the experience of the minds was really similar to what I would go through in sitting meditation with the Arupa jhanas, the formless. So it looked very familiar. Oh, yeah, those are the those are the jhanas. Those are the jhanas. Okay. Oh, death looks like this. So I would say that with this kind of training, because let's say all the personal, everything that makes yourself you, let's say using words, disappear in the formless states. So you are not afraid, you are no longer afraid of kind of annihilation of the person. So it prepares yourself, yes. And because you do it while sitting, then when time of death comes, when breathing stops, for example, then and as breathing stops at the end of the fourth jhanas, then you do not start to panic or to imagine or to cling to something. You let go even further, after the end of the breathing, then there is still the mind, let's say. All right. So we can train that contemplation of that. There are practice. That's better to do it with a teacher. And there is a Arupas jhanas, and knowing about your karma, that the actions that you actually did during your lifetime will actually show up. It is said that you might know your destination. There is a nimitta, a sign appearing at the moment of death that tells you where you're gonna where you're gonna go. So it's possible that if someone is dying, telling you something like either, oh, I see very bright light now, I'm ready to go, to let go and to die, or people say, oh, I'm seeing some fire and some scary creatures and things like this, and then yeah, you have a guess where they are going to go. And maybe it was, if I remember, the mother of one of the most chief disciple of the Buddha. I don't remember, it was mother of Moggallana or Angulimala, who actually was reborn in hell realms, and these disciples wanted to help his mother. And then he asked the Buddha, what can I do to exhaust faster her bad karma, and then she can be reborn as a human being as soon as possible? And Buddha gave him some instructions. So it was about gathering all the sangha, and that everyone would pray for the mother, and then it would help her to get out faster. So it looks like there are ways to make it easier for people when they are in the hell realms. But this myself, I don't know. I don't know how to do that. Okay, but what I wanted to say, really, and then finish, is that we have the opportunity to stop the cycle, right? When we have contemplated all of that, and contemplated that wherever you go, wherever the destination, even the godly realms where you can live for aeons and aeons, uh, in very pleasant realms, then even that is unsatisfactory. And then you want to stop the cycle, break it, right? And this is where you start to be interested in the teachings and say, okay, now I will do good karma in order to end karma. Because it's by ending karma that you end the cycle. You end the cycle. And how do you end the cycle? Well, you develop the Noble Eightfold Path in order to develop. So you support yourself with strong morality, develop concentration, samadhi, develop understanding. Understanding about what? About impermanence, about not self, and about dukkha, suffering. That everything that is conditioned in samsara is actually suffering. Even the pleasant feelings are suffering. Even joy is suffering. So it looks strange, but look at yourself. Look for yourself this kind of how do you define that? This kind of truth, right? And look at craving, how craving also propels your own suffering in this very lifetime. And then you can infer how it will propel yourself. And it's an ever-ending story. Even if you do not remember what was in the past, what was in the future, then you can just say, okay, enough is enough. Let's break the cycle and develop understanding. Then by developing understanding, you will uproot the defilements, greed, hatred, delusion, or any kind of the three craving, and then it will stop karma making. And therefore it will kind of dry up, dry up, or shrink, not give ground for the consciousness to be reborn again. All right, that's it for today's talk. Thank you for your attention. I will ring the bell 3 times. And I wish you, from my heart to your heart, to end this cycle of suffering. Thank you. Bow. So thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, please feel free to do so. Yes. You're welcome.